Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey, and today these are the flower bracelets that I will be making. Most of the components came from the Dollar Bead box and the Dollar Bead bag for the month of December 2023. If you are interested in the Dollar Bead box or the Dollar Bead bag, or like me, you're interested in both, I will have all the information in the description box below. I definitely encourage you to go check them out. And when you do, you want to use my code. That code is CRAFT2, and that code will get you $2 off your first box and a multi-month subscription. So if you would like to see how these bracelets came about, then stay tuned. I want to start with the tools that I will be using. I have one set of cutters, one set of chain nose pliers, one thread zap 2, one size 10 beading needle, and I will be using 8-pound Fireline in the color Crystal, which is this white color. And I always get the 125 yards just because I go through it so quickly. And I will be using a bead bug. And I want to briefly mention my tool set. Yes, I know I have a cut on my thumb and it's going to stand out this whole video. I just did it and I'm just going to laugh at myself. So yes, sorry. It is the Casual Comfort tool set, and as the name suggests, these are the most comfortable tools that I have found. And the biggest thing for me is the size, which I think leads to the comfort. They are quite a bit larger than some of the other jewelry making tools that I have found, which for me is amazing because they seem to be made for adult size hands. You see the grips are a little bit bigger as well. They're also very high quality, very well made. And at this point, I just can't imagine using anything else. So I will have this tool set linked down below along with everything else I use in the video that did not come from the bead box. And I have already made one of the bracelets that I'm gonna make today from the Dollar Bead box and mostly the Dollar Bead bag. And here it is. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. It is a magnet clasp bracelet. Here it is. I think this is absolutely beautiful. So this is the pattern that we will be making. So I have already strung some thread on my needle, and as of right now, I have a full wingspan of thread, which means I held it on one side and went as far as my arms could stretch. So to start off, I have already added all of this. Now I know it looks like a lot, but it's actually fairly simple. From my own stash, I'm using these kind of pale gold 11-0 seed beads. And I added 2 of the 4mm fire polish beads of the 2 colors that I chose back and forth the whole way across with an 11-0 seed bead in between. So we're adding 19 sets of 2. And I will go ahead and say this. When you lay it out right now, it's over 8 inches. Which for a lot of people, that's a really long bracelet. But don't worry, as you can see, they start to bunch up as we make it, so the final product is shorter. And that's including the clasp on the end. When it's over 8 inches right here, don't panic. So I'm gonna go to the very end of the thread, and I'm going to put the bead bug on, just like this, and push this whole thing down to the end. So right now you have it just like this, pressed up to the bead bug like this. And now we start the design element of it. So I pick up 3 11-0s, and whatever color you have on the end, that's the color you want to pick up. And you're gonna go through that 11-0 in the center and pull it all the way down. And you want to hold the beads and pull the thread so that it's nice and snug and kind of rounded off. If it's a little wonky here at first, it's okay. Just like that. So here's where it starts getting really repetitive as you're starting to go every other color. So we're still in this lighter color, so that's the one that's gonna go first. I'm gonna add 1 11-0 and then the next color. But I'm not gonna go through this one. I'm going to skip it and go into the middle of the 2 of the next color and go through that 11-0. Just like that. Pull it all the way through, just like that. All right. And now you're going to pick up the opposite colors because we're in the darker color, 11-0, lighter color, just like that. And we're going to skip that middle one. You're not going to go through the colors that are in between the two colors. You're going to go in between that lighter one right there. There we go. And as you can see here, it starts to make those flowers for each individual color. And then you just alternate the colors that you pick up. You never want to use the 11-0 that's in the middle of the two colors. You always want to use the 11-0 that's in the middle of the two colors that are the same. So this last one here we'll do together, just like that. And you do the same thing all the way up. And we'll meet back up at the end. All right, so we have now added the other side all the way up. And here is where we are at the top. So I've made it to the last one. And here is how I'm going to add that last one. So there's already one 11-0 up here at the top, and we want it the same as the other side. So I'm going to pick up 3 more 11-0s, and I'm going to push it all the way down. So here's where you have to kind of hold on to it, because what I'm going to end up doing with this other end and this long end is just tying a knot. So when you take off the bead bug, be careful not to just kind of let it go and, completely loosen up. So now I'm going to tie a knot. And of course you want to go twice to make it a knot. And this is where I have chain nose pliers for knots with this thread, because I like to kind of hang on to that tail and make the knot as tight as I can. And you can also kind of push it in place a little bit to where the top looks like it's supposed to. Now I'm going to take these cutters and cut off that tail. Take my thread zap and burn down that edge. And honestly, I think this by itself is a pretty cute bracelet. And when I made the original one, I, thought maybe just kind of stopping there at the center, but I really think that embellishment on the sides really adds to it. So now we're going to go down one side and put the clasp on the one side, and then back up the other and put the clasp on this side. So I'm going to go down this 11-0. And I'm going to come right back around and up this 4mm fire polished and back around all the 11-0s. All right, so now I'm coming out of this 11-0 here at the end, and I'm going to pick up 2 11-0s, one of the 3mm fire polished, and 2 more 11-0s. And all the way down the side, we're going to go through the 11-0s at the side. And that'll form kind of a circle around each one. So 2 11-0s, a 3mm, 2 11-0s, go down to the next 11-0. So just like that, half circles all the way down. One more time. Through the 11-0. So there's 3. We're going to do this exact same thing all the way down, connecting to all the 11-0s on the side. Now you don't want to connect to where the 4mm cross, right? Where it's just a single one. You're connecting to the 11-0 in between each of the colors. All right, so we'll meet back up when I get to the other end. All right, so I've gone all the way down one side, and I'm right here at the end. I'm going to pick up that same set. I'm going to connect it to the 4 at the top. Go through the other 2. All right, I'm going to go down that 4mm, just like that. Back up the other 4mm, and that thread will fall nicely. You shouldn't be able to see it right there. Now, here's where you have to distinguish between the 2 on the side and the 4 up here at the top. I'm going to go in between the first 2 of the 4 at the top and come out in the middle, just like that. And I'm going to pick up one 3mm, and I'm using a bronze magnet clasp, so I have one end of it here. I'm going to go through that magnet clasp, pull it down. I'm going to go back through that 3mm, and I'm going to go ahead and go through the other 2. Pull it through. And that should be pretty snug, but I'm going to do that one more time. And I'm just going to follow that thread path around where I have the clasp And right now I'm coming out of that 3mm at the top after my second time through. I'm going to go back down the other 2, and I have flipped it over. And now I'm going to go down the other side the same way I came up here. So we'll do a couple together. So I have 2 11/0s, a 3mm, and 2 11/0s. Go down to the 11/0, and remember you're only doing the 11/0s that are between the colors. And as you're coming down this side, it should complete the circles. Again, next 11/0, and just like that. So again, continue that pattern all the way down, and we'll meet back up at the other end. All right, I have made my way up the other side. I think it is looking absolutely beautiful. I have 2 11/0s, a 3mm, and 2 11/0s, and I'm here on the last one. So I'm going to go through these 11/0s here at the top, close off that last circle, and I'm going to make my way around. Go through the other 2. Now, I haven't gone down any of the ones that did that half of the circle, but I'm going to go down this 4mm, back up this other 4mm, just like the other side, pull it snug, and then make sure you're not going on the ones on the side. Go back through the first 2 of the 4 at the top, and we're adding a 3mm, and we're going to add the other half of the magnet clasp and pull it down. Go back down the 3mm, and back through the other 2 11/0s at the top, just like that, and pull it nice and snug. And I'm going to go around one more time just to secure that clasp. So now I'm coming out of that 3mm after having gone through the clasp one more time, and I'm going to go down the other side, and I'm going to tie it off right here on the side. I'm going to come out of that 3mm, and then coming out right here, I'm going to go through and make a knot, go through that loop and pull it nice and snug. Go through one more time to make a knot, through the loop again, pull it snug. Now I'm going to get my cutters and cut the thread, and I'm going to get the threads up, burn down that nub, just like that. And here it is. I think these are so cool. So here are both of them. And here they are on side by side. I think these turned out so nice. And of course, magnets stick together. Here they are. Very, very nice. I'm going to set these up on my display so we can see them better. All right, so here they are. And I have to say, I absolutely love them. And they are quite simple, but very pretty. And they were pretty quick to make as well, which definitely makes it a lot easier. And I really do love the neutral colors that came in the box this month. And I also think they're pretty stackable as well if you wanted to wear 2 of them or even 3 or 4. So once again, if you are interested in the dollar bead box or the dollar bead bag, I will have all the information in the description box below. I definitely encourage you to go check them out. And don't forget to use my code. That code is CRAFT2. And that code will get you $2 off your first box in a multi-month subscription. So if you like this video and you want to see other videos just like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. I absolutely love reading my comments. You guys are so kind, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.